It's a good thing we are recording. And so thank you for joining us. We're excited to talk a little bit about what we've been working on. Hala has done a fantastic job. She sits on our DU team and specifically does a lot of work around our Navigator series. So we're going to really turn things over to Hala and let her walk you through the demonstration today. Tony and I will jump in as appropriate, and please just feel free to ask questions as we move through. Tony, do you have anything else you want to?
No, it's all yours, Hala.
All right, thank you.
Go for it.
All right, hi everyone.
Hi. Oh.
Hi, excited to share this demo with you today. So in the beginning, I'll first go through a couple of slides in PowerPoint to walk you through what Destination U is and how it came about, and then I'll also go through the Navigator series and the details of that. And then after that, we'll go actually into Wyndham Nation, so I can show you Destination U, and then Success Matters, so I can show you how it looks in there as well. So I'll go ahead and get started, and I'll start off with Destination U. And Destination U was originally created for our associates so they can see exactly where the role fits within the organization, and so that they can access courses easily that are made specifically for them and for their own development. And with Destination U, it originally came about because we got feedback from our HR and business partners on our development strategy. So L&D was combined. They came up with a project team a couple of years back, before I was even here, and they came up with Destination U. And Destination U was developed and became our learning and development tool that was designed for all of our WBO associates to use a single branded development strategy. And that strategy thinks globally and acts locally. And what that means is Destination U is going to offer our associates global content that's available for everybody within WBO, despite what business unit they're in. And then we act locally by using the same curriculum, but then we design it specifically for that specific area of the business. So that's things globally and acts locally, unless Colleen and Tony have any additional background info on that. We're good? Awesome. I think you stated as well. Awesome. So in addition to thinking globally and acting locally, we divided WBO into 3 different business units, and we call them schools. And that is the school's business specialties, which includes IT, legal services, HR, consumer finance, FP&A, accounting, and strategy and integration. The School of Hospitality includes club and owner services, extra holidays, resort operations, and resort innovation and design. And then finally, the School of Sales and Marketing, which includes 2 of our biggest groups, of course, sales and marketing. So those are the 3 schools, and now associates went from identifying themselves by their department or what area of the business they're in, and now they're actually starting to identify with what school they're in. So that was one of the ideas behind Destination U as well. And so in addition to thinking globally and acting locally and the 3 different schools that we created, we also wanted Destination U to do 3 specific things, which is to provide for one story. And that story is told through Wyndham Nation. So all associates can go on Wyndham Nation, and I'll walk you through that in a little bit, so they can all get the same story from one area and one source. It was also to provide for one foundation, and that's done through our LMS, Success Matters, and again, I'll show you that in a little bit. And then finally, one curriculum. And again, the L&D team all came together to bring all the curriculum we all had to kind of align them all together. And then we created matrices out of that, which, again, I'll show you on the Wyndham Nation page in a little bit as well. So those are the 3 areas that we kind of focus on as we branded Destination U, and even moving forward, you know, how to keep up with Destination U. And that's the background info on Destination U, why it was created, and what it does now. Any questions on Destination U at all, what it does, and why we came up with it?
I have a quick question. I'm Fanny. This is great. Thank you. When you first started with all this Destination U, did you first of all put it in Wyndham Nation, or you had like a different SharePoint or a different place that you put it first, and then it evolved to Wyndham Nation? Or that was like the first place that you thought of putting all this information to get access to everyone?
The first place we thought of? That was...
Yeah. Well, what I would say is, one thing to just know, and I think it's important in terms of this, is that we had 3 L&D teams. There's a team that was, I had the hospitality group that did resorts and owner services. Colleen had the corporate G&A group, and then our counterpart, Donna Simonetta, who's no longer with WVO, Donna had sales and marketing at the time. So as a result, there might have been 3 different places to go. So resorts had a SharePoint site, but it wasn't in Wyndham Nation. It was in our local SharePoint site, which we call Web Connect. Sales and marketing, because sales and marketing associates use an iPad instead of a desktop computer, they had created a, let's call it, just to keep it simple, an app. And you could go to their app, which was generally a web page outside of the firewall, that would tell the story. That would be where their story was told. It was a different story than the one that was on the resort side. And then corporate G&A. Did you guys?
We didn't really have a
place. Yeah.
Okay.
And then from a previous L&D team on Web Connects, a previous iteration of L&D when it used to be all combined, there was a site kind of on the HR page that spoke to learning development and organizational effectiveness, like your annual review, but it had some references to the competency dictionary and stuff. But that was kind of no longer manned or maintained because we were no longer structured to support that kind of global thing. So this was, as Hala described, an opportunity to, as you can see, we didn't have one story. We didn't have one foundation. We certainly didn't have one curriculum.
Right.
So it was an initiative to pull all that back together and kind of get ourselves aligned and back together again. And so, yes, Wyndham Nation became, I think, our preferred place to go to put that one story together.
Perfect.
For the
okay,
story,
thank you.
Curriculum, we always knew we wanted to stay within the LMS.
Yeah, we had to stay in the LMS because that's the system.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. So next up is the Navigator series, which I'm really excited to talk to you guys about. And the Navigator series, just to give you a little bit of background information on why it came about before I go into the details. Prior to the Navigator series, we had a lot of great tools that are available to our associates, like Serve 100, if you guys have heard of that, which was in Success Matters. And that was a curriculum for a lot of associates to go to for self-development. We also had Get Abstract, we had Success Matters, Open Sesame courses, and these were all great tools that weren't being utilized to their full potential. So we wanted to create some kind of learning opportunity that can bundle all of these resources in one area and make them available to our associates so they can be better utilized. And that is how we came up with the Navigator series. It's basically a bundle concept that gathers all of these learning opportunities and resources that are available to our associates, and we bring them together based on a development topic, and then we launch it each month. So I'll go into a little bit more specifics about each of those things in a little bit, unless Tony and Colleen want to provide any other background.
No, I think that's great.
Good. Perfect. So Navigator series was designed for our diverse learners. So at WVO and everywhere really, we have diverse learners within organizations. So not everybody wants to sit down in front of a computer and complete an Open Sesame course. Some people might want to get their learning from a leader or want to know the leader's perspective. Others might want to just watch a video, and that's the best way for them to learn. So we wanted to keep that in mind as we created the Navigator series and that learning opportunity. And so we kept that in mind as we created the Navigator series, and we also wanted this kind of learning to be reusable content. So we didn't just want to offer one kind of learning, kind of like ILT courses or an online course that can just be accessed one time and forgotten about. We wanted this learning to be accessed by our associates, and this content can be reusable so we can go back and make use of it. So kind of like books in a library. And so that was the concept behind the Navigator series. And so with that, we created 4 different ways that associates can navigate to success. And again, I discussed all of these great tools that we have at WVO that are available to associates. We just bundle them together. And the 4 types of resources that we bundle in each of the navigators that we launch monthly are Success Matters Open Sesame courses. So those are available through Success Matters. We also go through Get Abstract for them to watch TED Talk videos. We offer Get Abstract book reviews. And finally, we gather leader viewpoints. And what that is basically we meet with business leaders, usually SLT. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why the slides keep changing by themselves.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Usually we have senior leaders that we interview. We ask them specific questions about the topics that we launch. And when that happens, we gather those answers, we put them in a little article, and then we bundle it into the topic that we're launching. And that way our associates are getting information, tips from leaders that they know from around the organization. So those are our leader viewpoints, and I'll show you how that looks in just a little bit. But any questions so far on the resources that we use within the navigators or how we bundle it?
No, it's great.
Okay, perfect. So before the navigators launch,
one thing I would just mention is that one of the beauties of this is it costs nothing, because we already paid for the Sesame courses, we've already paid for the Get Abstract contracts, we've already paid for the TED Talks in our allocations too. So this is really, the Navigator didn't cost a penny. We didn't cost a penny of work time to develop anything. The only work is putting it into an LMS and knowing how to kind of load it all together in a way that Hull will show you how it's accessed. And that takes some time. Right. Also some time to interview the leaders for the viewpoints and get those into it as well. But very little time.
Topics, maybe, but very little.
Big investment, or big return, little investment. So we're really excited about this innovative way of using what we already have.
Exactly.
Absolutely. How long have you been using this destination, the Navigator, sorry? Or when did you launch this, the Navigator?
So Destination U overall was launched in November of 2016, last year, and the same month we launched this learning opportunity as well. So it was also launched in November of 2016. So we have 7 months so far that have been launched. Oh, it's a lot. It doesn't seem like it's that much, but it is.
And
so yes.
No. I'm sure. We will see this in the future slides. But yeah, I will be interested in knowing how, obviously, like the response, and if you are able to measure if people are really going to all these training courses and online and Get Abstracts, just to measure how many people are actually using this the Navigator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question, and we've actually been working through that the last couple of months, and I'm happy to say we finally came up with kind of like a global reporting where we're reporting out on the usage of each of the navigators, what areas or schools are utilizing what resources and which navigator topics. So I can definitely show you that in a little bit at the end and how that looks.
Thank you.
Of course. So I talked about launching each topic monthly. So each month we've identified topics ahead of time, and we identified topics 6 months prior to launch. So there is an entire plan that's set in place prior to launch, because it takes a lot of work prior to identify topics, to identify leaders, and to bring everything together so that we're able to launch on time every month. So you see on screen some of the topics that we've already launched thus far, or that we are getting ready to launch. So these are just some of the sample topics, but I'm going to show you right now how we've come up with these topics. So you see on the screen this spreadsheet, and I'm actually going to just show it to you in the actual Excel. So we created this Excel which has multiple different tabs that speak to different development topics. So we've actually met with our leaders, Colleen and Tony, prior to identify these topics based on our business needs and what happens monthly. And we've identified that these are the most important topics that we want to launch first. So as you can see, we have a tab for each topic that we launched. And within each tab, we've identified what books align with that topic. We've also identified what TED Talk will go with that topic and a Success Matters course. In addition to that, we have identified the leaders that we want to interview for that specific topic as well. So this was all the pre-planning that we've done prior to even launching the Navigator series, so that we know what we want to launch and what resources we want to include in each of the Navigators.
I think it's also important to note that this was a great WinTurn project.
Yeah.
So when we had access to WinTurns in 2016, I believe one of the things we did is have them do some TED Talk research and some Get Abstract research on the topic, and then come back with, and they watched every one of those videos and every one of those TED Talks, so they come back with their recommendations. So yeah, a great WinTurn project.
Yeah, definitely. So this is their baby. This is where it all started, is in this document. They've come up with most of these topics, and we just go back through it before we launch to ensure that the books, the TED Talks, the videos align with the topic that we're launching. But this is the background of how we launch the topics before we get into how it looks in Success Matters after this. And I sent this to Nicole, but does anybody have any questions on this document or how we plan for it?
No, it's great.
Hala, sorry. Hala, did you get any input from Get Abstract at all, or was it just really you doing your own search on your own through the site?
Yeah, it was us. Yeah, it was the WinTurns doing their own research, so we would just get onto getabstract.com, utilize the search tool, input the topic name, and then we would go through the resources that come up in the search results and see which one is best for us to use within the Navigator.
Okay.
Yeah. So it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, I ask because here in corporate, we're trying to develop a somewhat similar matrix. It's not as in-depth as what you're showing us and what you've created, but it was something where we were trying to come up with our own monthly themes, and then because I'm like the point of contact for Get Abstract and Open Sesame, I was going to send them that matrix and then basically get their opinion or their suggestions on different abstracts and TED Talks and courses that we already have in our catalog. So I was just curious as to how you went about doing that.
Okay.
But this is like extremely helpful. Yeah.
Oh. And if you have any questions after or whenever you go through the process, you can definitely reach out to me anytime.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So in addition to this resources Excel sheet, we also have a project plan that we keep in place each month to ensure that we're on track of launching everything on time. So Nicole, if you need this as well, I can share it with you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
This just helps us. We have, again, a tab for each month that we launch and the topic. And in each month, we have what we have to do, by what date it needs to be done, and then we make sure to keep this updated so that we're launching each topic monthly, and we know what we need to launch and complete and by what date. So this is also our project plan that we have set in place. So with that said, I'm now going to go through the Wyndham Nation website to show you guys how Destination U looks like in Wyndham Nation and then Success Matters. So as you all know, Wyndham Nation's access through this nice website here. And so I'm going to log in. Hopefully my password is not expired. Of course.
Wait.
Oh.
I do that too.
I do too.
I just logged in. Okay.
I thought you can use mine.
I just changed the number, so I never remember the number.
Do you just want to show them where this lives on the left real quick?
Yeah. So I accessed it directly by putting Wyndham Nation /content/Destination U. But you can also access it from the homepage of Wyndham Nation by clicking here on the Learning and Career Development. And then you'll see that the first item here is Destination U. So,
and that's if you're a WVO employee. If you're not, then that won't appear for you.
right. So that link will take you directly here. So WVO associates have access to this, and they're the only ones that can see this website. But this is the homepage of Destination U. So we have a welcome message for all of our associates, and then we have this video that they can watch, and it kind of walks them through all of the tabs, what they can click on, and they learn how to utilize the website. So this is the first video that they see here. We talked about the Navigator series. So this is kind of like our marketing space for the Navigator series on Destination U. Each month we update it with the new Navigator series that has been launched, and here they can click on the image, which will take them through Success Matters, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And then finally, we update the site monthly with new pictures of global content that's been taught all around WVO. So as you can see, we have Fundamentals of Leadership, which is one of our global curriculum, and these are the recent graduates. So we just update associates on who's been through curriculum and who are the graduates. So this is the global content on the homepage of Destination U. And then we also broke it down by school. So we have an area in Wyndham Nation for each school. So I'll go ahead and click on Sales and Marketing first. And so on the Sales and Marketing page and on all other pages as well, we have a welcome message from that SLT member that belongs to that school. And then we have information that relates to that school specifically. So here we have a new opportunity for sales and marketing that we're launching called the Year of the Manager. So that's going to be something new that's coming soon. And then when I spoke earlier about one curriculum and aligning all of our associates with one curriculum, and I spoke to the matrices, this is one of the matrix that's available for the sales and marketing associates. So as you can see, I talked earlier about Destination U, and it was created so that associates can see exactly where their role fits within the organization and what's available to them based on their role. And so as you can see, we have it here broken down by their title. And then we also have it broken down by how long they've been with the organization. So if I was an associate or a band associate, and I've been with the company for over a year, and I want to see what opportunities available for me, I'll come here to this box, and I'll see that the Navigator series is a great tool for me. And so I'll click on that, which will take me to that tool in Success Matters. And yeah.
Just a note of clarification. So the Navigator series is going to be the bundled curriculum that Paula just showed you. The online course library, that's just taking them to open source, the Open Sesame content just by itself. So they still have access to all of our active Open Sesame content as a standalone, experience. However, some of that Open Sesame content may also be found within the Navigator, bundled to the topic along with the TED Talks and the videos. So just a clarification on what online course library is.
Right. And so as you can see, there are some blue items that you can click on, but there are also some items that are grayed out and you can't click on them. And the reason why that is because the items that you can click on actually take you to Success Matters to actually register for those courses on there and complete the courses through Success Matters. Or the ones that are grayed out are curriculum that you either have to be nominated for to be a part of, or you have to speak to an HR representative to be a part of that curriculum, or if you want to go through that program. And for our associates, kind of like in school or in a college, you get like a course subscriptions page. We've created a course subscriptions page here for them as well, which they can click on, and they can learn about each of those programs that are listed in the matrix, and it gives them a brief description of each of those and what it does.
It was our desire to be able to hover. So instead of, so when you hovered your cursor in the matrix over a course name, like Navigator, you're the one, it would have popped up a little box that would have given you the course description. But that functionality with our Wyndham Nation partners was possible, but required a great deal more coding and kind of work hours. So the course description PDF pop-up is, if you will, plan B, since the hover and pop-up strategy was not fully available.
Right. And so in addition to the matrix, we kind of outlined each page the same as the global page. So towards the bottom of each of the school pages, you'll see graduates or pictures of associates who have been through programs or courses within that specific school. So these are sales and marketing associates, whereas on the global page, it can be associates from any of the schools because they've gone through a global course rather than a school-specific course. And so this was the sales and marketing page, and the other two schools are also outlined the same. School of hospitality and business specialties are set up a little bit differently, only because they have different specialties within that area. So for example, hospitality has the 4 areas here listed, and so you actually have to click on that specific specialty to see more information about that group. But as you can see, we have the leaders that welcome you to that page, and again, that's on every page that we have on Destination U. And they usually have updated content monthly or maybe bi-monthly, but whenever they have updated content, we do update the site with the information that they provide us. Again, we have recent graduates of programs specific to resort operations. And again, here you see the same exact matrix that you just saw on the sales and marketing page, but it's going to be specific to the School of Hospitality. So here, for example, you see AGM and GM onboarding. That's on the hospitality page, but it wouldn't be on the sales and marketing page or hospitality code certification. And again, pictures. Does anybody have any questions so far on Destination U on Wyndham Nation?
No, not at all. It's very clear for me.
Perfect.
One thing I would just reinforce is this, as you can see within this framework, this is where the think globally, act locally theme plays out. So Destination U allows the multiple L&D teams to come together for a global strategy and shared global content, but then the School of ... pages allow us to be able to have the freedom within the framework to customize our learning solutions in a way that means most to the business that the L&D team specifically supports. So a nice blend of global alignment, but yet localized functional area connectivity and support.
Right, exactly. Think globally, act locally. That's a term often used here now. So what I just did is, if I was an associate clicking on the Navigator series, or You're the One, or one of these courses, once I click on that, it takes me to Success Matters, or Success Factors. And once I log into Success Matters, it will take me directly to that page of whatever curriculum I clicked on. So here, it should show me the Navigator series list. So here you see everything that's related to the Navigator series. So we have all of the topics that we've launched so far. And they can scroll down and choose what topic they would like. But before I go through the Navigator series, I wanted to show you how Destination U looks like in Success Matters first. So when associates log into Success Matters, they're taken to the home page. Or if they click on the learning page as well, this will appear. And as you can see, Destination U for WVU associates will be on top of the page. So as you can see, there's the School of Business Specialties, Hospitality, Sales, and Marketing again. So that kind of aligns both Wyndham Nation and Success Matters the same way. So I'll go ahead and click on the School of Business Specialties. And this is how we've applied, and mine looks a little bit different because I realigned it. But this is how we display Destination U in Success Matters. Each school looks different based on the different specialties or departments within that school. So here for the School of Hospitality, we have each of the specialties that we saw earlier on the Destination U homepage listed with their own matrix. So this matrix that you see here on the Wyndham Nation page you'll see it exactly the same way outlined, but specific to that specialty in Success Matters as well. So we have courses that are available only in Success Matters that will show up in the search results based on that specialty. And then something that we really liked as far as associate development and specifically IDP is this box here where they can search for courses by competencies. So with this box, it's for them to grow their expertise. And it's, again, listed by the associate where they are within the organization, and then by each competency as well. So if I'm an A-band associate that, lead self, I don't have any direct reports, and I'm working on my IDP, for example, and I want to learn how I can better build trust, I would click on Build Trust, and that would take me to a search results page where we've identified courses that tie in specifically to that topic. So you'll see that there are Navigator series topics that are available. There are courses, Open Sesame courses that are available that will help associates develop that specific topic. And again, these courses we've actually identified beforehand. So we went through all of the courses that we had and actually gave them specific codes so they can show up in these search results based on what the associates click. And then here we just have information about the Associate Service Center if they have any questions about courses that are not appearing or they're having difficulty with courses. Any questions on this content 20? Do you guys have anything else to add?
The only thing I would say to this is this was a delightful surprise.
Yes.
So where we might have had just kind of a little sad moment when we couldn't get the pop-ups on Wyndham Nation, we had by 10-time magnitude a delightful experience between the work that Jay Jung and Allison were able to collaborate to do this work within Success Matters. I don't think it was on anybody's radar that this was ever going to be as functional as it is, to be able to find the needles in the haystacks in ways in which the learner would want to access for their developmental learning path. This part just really was a huge win. We're incredibly excited about the work that Jay specifically did and Allison's support to make this part happen.
Great point.
Big surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It took all the great.
It looks super user-friendly. I mean, it's a place where you have to go and you see everything that you have available, and you just click and you go to the courses. I think that's our challenge, that people don't know where to go. They are not really sure what exactly they need to be looking at. So that's really, really clear for every associate.
Yeah.
Great.
And in fact, when this came back and it came back as strong as it did, it caused us to pause and say, well, do we really need Wyndham Nation page then if we have if it's this functional? And I think the reason we keep the Wyndham Nation piece is, Wyndham Nation it markets, it provides the photographs of graduates, it gives us ability to tell and explain a little bit more about what the concept of Wyndham Destination is, what Destination U is, and tell the story and ownership of your development. It allows us to highlight leaders and create an interactive experience to market learning. This is then the place where you go to actually execute against that learning. It would be lovely if we could somehow tell the story like we do in Wyndham Nation within Success Matters, or I always thought it'd be fun if on Wyndham Nation it tells the story and then there's like a portal, and so in a window Success Matters kind of comes through the window, and it's the engine behind that window that's functioning to pull up my learning, but I'm doing it through the Wyndham Nation portal. I'm sure that's possible with the right amount of coding and dollars and manpower to do it, but for the lack of that, we have two places you go, one to get the story and one to execute against the plan once you have defined what you want to do.
Right. Yeah. And another thing that associates like to see when I do this demo, sometimes you are part of extra holidays, but your box is all the way at the bottom. So this page is even customizable by each associate. So That's why mine looks a little bit different here, because I'm part of the School of Business Specialties, and when I first clicked on it, it looks different because I customized it this way. I actually moved the box from the right-hand side of the competency, and I put it here because I was working on my ITP. But if I'm part of accounting and finance, for example, I can move this box up to, hopefully, I can move this box all the way up so that next time when I log into Success Matters, this box appears on top. So it's not that easy, but
when you're running 10 applications at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as you can see, you can move it here anyway, and now accounting and finance is on top, and now when I log into Success Matters every time, my specific area will be the highlight of the page, so I can easily go to my area and click on the courses that I need. Any questions on these pages or Destination U in Success Matters? All right. So now I'm going to walk you through the Navigator series and how that looks here in Success Matters. And like I said, you can access the Navigator series by clicking on it here from the matrix. Usually, I'm pretty sure they mostly access it from here, from the homepage of Destination U by clicking on that highlight. Or you can even access it from Success Matters by going to Learning. And if you search Navigator series, all the navigators that have been launched will come up. So there's multiple ways that you can access the Navigator. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Demonstrate Count on Me and Accountability Navigator.
Hala, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
As part of the courses in the Navigator series, are those just available to WVO associates? Or is it one of those available across BU?
I think Open Sesame is available to all business units.
Well, Open Sesame is, but I'm in my learning, and I'm trying to look up Navigator series, and
I don't think
it doesn't come up. So that's why
I don't believe the Navigator series curriculum is set up to be open outside of WVO.
Right.
Okay, because it's specific to WVO.
Right. So the components of the Navigator series would be available outside of WVO. So the Get Abstract, the TED Talks,
right,
the Open courses would be available. The Leadership Viewpoints would not. But the curriculum of the Navigator series holistically would not be available outside of WVO.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Stitching it together under a bundle and giving that bundle the name Navigator. It's that bundle, that stitching and bundling and naming piece that's not accessible. But again, to your point, the pieces or the components are available.
Right.
Unbundled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how we set it up through the admin site. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but when we choose the catalog, we actually choose the catalog Destination U, which includes all WVO associates. And
right.
So only those people see it.
Yeah, and I understand what you're talking about. So I just wanted to double check and make sure that it's not something that's available to everyone. So
got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So when I access the Navigator series for the first time, there's going to be a button here on top that asks me to enroll. So I won't be able to access anything within the Navigator. As you can see, it'll be grayed out until I click on enroll. And this is important as far as reporting, because when they click enroll, then we see that this person assigned this Navigator to themselves. So once I click on enroll, I kind of already done some of these things before, so that's why my status bar is at 37. But this is the status bar where associates can see how much items within the Navigator they completed. Every Navigator, it looks the same as this one. It's a program set up in Success Matters from the admin site. And the beginning gives them an overview of what that Navigator does and what they're going to learn in this Navigator. And then we also have a launch date for each Navigator. So this specific topic was launched in April of this year. And then the first item within each navigator is always this how-to document. And associates open this first or the first time that they access a navigator so they can learn a little bit more about how they can use the navigator, what they have to click on to make sure they get credit for items that they do. And this is how this item looks like once they open it. So it shows them how to access navigators in a different way. And then it tells them what each item that they can click on does for them. And I'll walk you guys through this in a little bit. But this is always the first item that's included in each navigator, so the associates can know how to navigate their way through the navigator. And so after that, we have the highlighted leader viewpoints, which are from each of the areas. And as you can see, when I open a document, it'll show completed right away. And this is automatically when I click on that document or that course. So as you can see, I've already completed this viewpoint, and if I haven't, it'll say start course. So I'll go ahead and click on it so you guys can see what a leader viewpoint looks like. So this is how our leader viewpoint looks, and thanks to our brand team, they were able to create this amazing design for us for Destination U. But as you can see, we have asked Sherry, this leader, a couple of questions. We actually sat with her and interviewed her, and these are the answers she gave us. So we take what she told us and we put it in this outline or in this format for associates to read the tips and her experience with accountability and, you know, the Count on Me experience as well. So all of our leader viewpoints look like this. And so as you can see, where first I haven't read Sherry's leader viewpoint, now as soon as I've read it and I go back to the navigator, you'll see that it says complete afterwards. So it's pretty easy for associates to get credit once they complete these items. Next up, we have Success Matters courses. They're just regular Success Matters courses, and as you can see here, we have Count on Me. And this is actually one of the previous Serve 100 courses. So as you can see, we've also bundled that, whereas that would have been in a curriculum in the past. We've taken those courses and also added them to the Navigator series. And if I click on this, you guys know what happens. It's an Open Sesame course. The Good Abstract books, this is how it looks in the program. We've chosen this book, and what associates have to do to get credit for this, they actually have to click on the link, which will take them to an outside source. We actually give them the website so they can use that link to create an account if they haven't already created an account. And once they click on it, it'll take them directly to Get Abstract. And I'm sure this looks familiar to you guys as well. They are able to read it, download the PDF, and complete that. But unlike the leader viewpoints and the courses, they won't automatically get credit once this link is open. The associate, like the document says, the how-to document, has to actually come here once they finish reading the Good Abstract book and click on Mark Complete to receive credit. And it works the same way for the TED Talk. Once they click on it, it'll take them to Good Abstract. They would have to click on Watch Video to go to TED Talk and watch that video. And once I'm done with that, I have to come back and click Mark Complete to receive credit for that. And as you can see, the status bar changes. And this is how a navigator looks like in Success Matters.
Hala, can I ask you another question?
Yeah, of course.
So with Allison and Jay's help, and you have all these different ways to mark, you know, Open Sesame courses as complete, Get Abstracts, things like that. Does that show up in ways that you can pull reports from Success Matters as well? Is that how you're getting the information to see how many people have completed it, or are you pulling those reports from another source?
Yeah, all the reports that we pull are from the Success Matters admin site. And the reports that we pull, we can either pull an entire program completion report, which shows us what they've completed in the entire program, and we also pull reports for each specific item. So this is created as an item in the admin site, and we'll see if the person completed this specific item. So we pull both reports to get the information that we need and to see what they completed.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions on the Navigator series?
So I know that this is great. This looks really, really good. We are working actually in something similar in terms of, we know that we also have like diverse learners, and we really want to give them like different options and different ways of learning. But we are more focusing on the 70-20-10 model, and I think we discussed this in our last call, and I think one of the presentations that Linda and I shared with you, well, the professional development series, we mentioned the 70-20-10. And I mean, we are not like as a structure as you guys. This is great because people know exactly where to go and where like the bundle of different elements for a specific topic. What we are developing is Development Corner is the name of our SharePoint, Development Corner. So we give people the opportunity to have, in terms of 70-20-10 in each one of the competencies, what can you do in order to develop that particular competency? So let's say in 70% in communication, we give like a number of examples of what can you be doing in order to improve your communication. That is experience. 20% that is the exposure. What would be like the coaching or mentoring, or like some examples to do in order to improve your communication, and the 10% will be like the training, the instructor-led training or the online training. And it's funny because also our intern is her project, and she's been doing great putting all this information together, and we are actually, well, designing the SharePoint. That's why I was asking you guys about Wyndham Nation. We're going to start with, I mean, locally with people here in North America, but obviously we want people in the different regions to have access to this information. My question with this is there like a development plan for these people that start doing this in particular? I know that is not mandatory, it's optional, and you are providing them with the tools and the resources for them to go into this site and decide what are like the competencies they want to develop. But is there like a process with their managers to create a development plan and to agree on these particular topics to go to Destination U, or is more open for each person that wants to develop, or is more mandatory, or is according to the managers? You know what I'm trying to say? Is there like a process that you have to go through this process and do these particular navigators, or is open? How does that work?
We haven't made it a mandatory completion or mandatory learning. We have been, I can speak to it on the hospitality side and as part of our business specialty side. We've encouraged leaders to use it as part of their associate development, and we've talked to making it part of their development, their IDPs, where it's appropriate, and picking out the right topics based on the need of the development need of the individuals. And we're encouraging making Navigator series part of their IDPs. We have on our dashboard a top strong in development goal, so we are really on a push right now from an IDP perspective. So we are encouraging it, but we are not at this point saying it is a required learning on an IDP.
Yeah.
Right, and I suppose it's doing, I suppose it's doing like a lot of work with managers, as you mentioned, to encourage them. These are the tools. This is what is available. Just, I mean, you should use them to help your associates or team members to develop certain competence. Correct.
Yes, and our HR partners are really encouraging, as they're working with our business partners, to do the same.
Of course. Sorry, don't I interrupt you?
Yeah, just I think a way I might answer that question is, hold on, we're going to get to one of the matrices. Okay, so it's a great question. So what I would say is, interestingly enough, so if you look across the top, that's the employee life cycle, right? Start your role 0 to 12 months, then after 12 months, kind of sharpen the saw, grow your expertise space, and then lastly, the develop your potential, which is really, you know, if we were to code that differently, we would say this is your high potential, top strong from your IDP process. development that's specifically designed to develop the top strong group, whereas both the Start Your Role and the Grow Your Expertise, that's for everybody, regardless of your talent rating or where you are. It just really is dependent upon whether you're new or not new. So in the Start Your Role space, to a great degree, and I can't find an exception on this one initially, but to a great degree, this is all required learning. It's going to automatically be pushed. It's automatically going to be loaded. These are all things that you need to do in order to satisfy a required onboarding plan. The business has said, we want all of our associates at that various levels to complete that learning within their first 12 months. So that's a must-do in the first column. In the center column is everything that you and Colleen were talking about, which is IDP-driven. So it's based on either the individual getting up off the couch and saying, hey, I want to develop myself, or the manager saying, you know, based on some type of requirement within the business, so let's say we want all of our top strong employees to have IDPs by the end of the year, or maybe we want to have all of our employees to have IDPs by the end. If that's the mandate, then that space is going to happen within the Grow Your Expertise space, and then that curriculum, it's in that column, would be certainly available and primed for that individual to fill, to your point, the 10%. They would also be asked to put in experiential learning, like a work assignment or project. They might also have you know, some relationship learning, maybe a mentor connection that might put in place, and then the 10% they would pull from this matrix. And then we as L&D teams provide counsel, coaching, support to those business leaders on their IDP initiatives. This center column just becomes the resource through which to pull for the 10%. So that's kind of the philosophy there. And then on the third column, the one over to the right again, this is usually invitation only, high potential development. That's you know, we work with our HR partners and the business partners, identifying who's top strong, ready now, or ready to grow in, you know, 1 to 2, 3 to 5 years. And then we and typically we want them to be mobile so that they'll be, you know, most likely to be able to fill critical roles and openings throughout the business. And we invest very deeply in kind of more broader, more expensive curriculum for folks within that Grow Your Potential space. So that's, you know, you can get into each one of those, and there's probably little exceptions or little caveats we can touch, but just at a broad brush, that's sort of the philosophy of how this matrix interfaces with kind of IDPs versus required new to role training and high potential development.
Correct. No, that makes sense. Total sense. Thank you so much.
So I want to quickly go over the evolution of Destination U and the Navigator series, things that we have been working on to ensure that Destination U and Navigator series continue to be an important part of learning and development, and that associates continue to utilize these tools. And what we've done, we've actually launched the Learning Bulletin, which is our monthly kind of newsletter for Destination U that goes out to all of our associates. And as you can see, this is a sample that came through my email yesterday. This was the July newsletter, but we call it the Learning Bulletin. And what this does is it kind of advertises new things that are happening in our campus or in our story on Wyndham Nation, so that associates can utilize the website. So over here you see recent graduates, and this picture was on the global page that I showed you earlier. So if we clicked on this, it would take us to the Wyndham Nation page. It advertises the Navigator of the Month, so this would take them as well to the Wyndham Nation page to see that Navigator and more information. And then the third box that we have on the newsletter is kind of a highlight monthly of either a school or something new that's happening on campus. So as you can see, for this month, we are highlighting the School of Sales and Marketing. So if associates were to click on this picture, it would take them directly to the School of Sales and Marketing page on Wyndham Nation. So this is kind of our monthly learning bulletin that keeps our associates engaged with Destination U, and that tells them what's new and what's happening around Destination U as well. And in addition to Destination U, the evolution of that and making sure that that stays on top and focused, we also have an evolution of the Navigator series. So you talked earlier about if managers push out this to their associates and their IDP. We kind of did want managers or the leaders to take charge of the Navigator series and kind of promote it a little bit more to their associates, but we wanted to figure out a way to do that. And again, this is not required, but we created this tool for our leaders so they can get more information on how they can utilize the tools within the Navigator series. So this guide, as you can see, is broken down, and I can send this to you guys after the call so you can see how it looks in a document format. But as you can see, we have the three resources, the TED Talk and Get Abstract Book Reviews, the Leader Viewpoints, and then the online courses. And then under each of these resources, we list different activities that leaders can actually take and incorporate within their teams using these resources. So over here, and I'm sorry you probably can't see the description, but for Watch and Talk activity, what leaders would do is log into the Navigator of the month. They would take the TED Talk, and all they would basically do, what the instruction tells them, is watch the TED Talk with their team, and with 2 to 3 minutes, just present on the topic and have each group that you have in your team present on the TED Talk as well and what they learned with the TED Talk. So we have other cool and interesting activities here that leaders can do with their team to promote the Navigator series as well. So these are the two things that we've done to kind of keep Destination U and Navigator series on top. And that is the evolution of Destination U. Does anybody have any questions?
No, this is great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Awesome. Colleen and Tony, anything else?
The only thing I would say on this last piece, this job aid, is this has been, I know we all have this where we have a strategy and we're working against development for the strategy, but then we have our business partners who ask, hey, I've got a summit next week. I'm bringing my leaders in and they need a thing. And you're like, you need a thing. Yeah, we got like 4 hours and we need a thing. What do you want? Oh, some maybe on trust or something. I think we need a thing. So what we've been able to do, and Colleen's certainly been the master of because she gets a ton of the thing requests from our business partner. So from that, this allows us, because Navigator is really a very independent learning experience. It's either online, self-paced, work with those modules, so it's a very independent experience, which allows for a lot of flexibility. I might have 5 people on my team. They might have 5 different things they need to develop on, so I can use this independent thing. But when I need a group thing, like I got people coming together and they're going to be together 4 hours, how can I use all the content that's within a Navigator, but do it in a group learning experience without having to create a new thing, but leverage what we already have? So this Leader's Guide is a tool that either an L&D professional, an HR professional out in the field, or even a business leader out in the field could host a thing for such an experience by leveraging the Navigator content, and through a little art of finagling, we can give them credit for the Navigator experience within the system for having gone through a facilitated experience. So that's one of my favorite pieces about this Leader's Guide, and the added benefit it provides both our partners who are looking for our leaders who are looking for things out in the field, but also helps to promote the Navigator experience.
It works really well as the thing.
Right, as the thing.
Absolutely, and they get involved as well. It's not just L&D or HR work. They also involved in this, so that's great. I will be great if you can also share this with us. This is amazing. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Hala. You're welcome.
Thank you, Hala. That was great. Thank you so much for your
fantastic.
Yes, this was
Thanks
awesome.
so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. If you have any questions,
we will. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hala, did you say you'd be sharing information about the metrics and the reporting later?
We're still finalizing and going through the final touches of the reporting, and as soon as I think we have finalized that, we're happy to share it. We're doing a final run through of it, and so we like an opportunity to do that final run with our leaders, and then yes, we're absolutely happy to share.
Sure, your framework, of course, would be so helpful. What reporting was helpful, and so I'm sure you're developing templates within the reporting functions of Success Matters. So that's really fascinating and innovative work. So very excited to see.
Yeah,
thank
you. Thank you. Appreciate
you
that
all.
very much.
Have a great
You guys
one.
have a fantastic weekend.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.